Part 17. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 161. Come with me. Good. Xiaoningsun closed the courtyard door, took Zhang Lili to the pavilion, and asked, "What is the specific disease?" Zhang Lili took off the wig on her head, revealing her bald head. Xiaoningsun understood. She felt something was wrong with this person's hair just now. It was indeed a wig. Seeing that there was no look of disdain on Xiaoningsun's face, Zhang Lili relaxed a little and put the invoices for her previous medical treatment on the table. Xiaoningsun took it over and looked at it carefully. They were basically invoices from small clinics, with a few from large hospitals. Looking at those amounts, you can see that she has indeed spent a lot of money over the years. Zhang Lili said anxiously, "Ningsun, look at my disease, how much money will it cost to cure it?" "Xiaoningsun, the starting price of 3,000 will definitely cost you. For the specific amount, I will also need to listen to your situation to see if the treatment is complicated." "Okay, I'll tell you now," Zhang Lili said with a grimace. "You have seen it, there is not a single hair on my head. Ever since I gave birth to a child many years ago, my hair has fallen out in large quantities. Every time I comb my hair, the comb is covered with hair. When I woke up in the morning, there were hair all over the pillow. I tried to cut it short, but it also fell out. Later, there were only a few dozen hairs left on my head. I listened to my relatives and thought that the dozens of hairs looked ridiculous. They might all fall off sooner or later. It would be better to shave them all, so I shaved them off and bought wig." Xiaoningsun nodded and asked, "What happens after that? Haven't you ever grown hair?" "It has grown," Zhang Lili sighed, "but it will fall off within a few days after it grows. Although it is convenient to wear a wig and does not have the trouble of washing your hair, which can save a lot of money, it is still inconvenient. Sometimes I was holding the baby and the baby was pulled off in front of many people when I exerted force. I was so embarrassed. Because I have no hair, my husband has become more and more bored with me recently. He feels like he is dealing with a man every day. So as soon as I heard that you cured Aunt Chu, I came over quickly." "That's it." Xiaoningsun put the pulse pillow and other tools in place. "Here, let me check your pulse." Zhang Lili quickly reached out her hand. After a while, Xiaoningsun frowned and said, "After you gave birth to your child, did you work in a chemical factory?" Zhang Lili's eyes widened in surprise. "You even know this?" "Yes." Zhang Lili sighed and said, "I gave birth to a child, I had no milk, my husband couldn't make money, and I wanted to give the child the best. I heard that wages in chemical plants are high, but the risks are high and people are prone to getting sick, so I took the risk. But later I learned that a man who had worked in a chemical plant for 10 years fell ill and passed away. I was scared, so I ran away. After I came back, I was okay at first, but after a month, my hair started to fall out. I heard that sometimes my hair falls out when I'm not in good health, so I didn't pay much attention to it. Who would have thought that this time, it would be all gone? Is the reason why I lost my hair really related to that chemical factory?" Xiaoningsun nodded. "You also worked there for a year, and absorbed a lot of toxic gases during the period. It was indeed those gases that made you lose your hair. Fortunately, you didn't have milk and didn't feed the child directly, otherwise your child would." Zhang Lili was immediately frightened, but suddenly thought of something and said doubtfully, "But I also contacted people from that chemical plant, who had worked there before, and who had been working there. No one has the same symptoms as me." "This is normal," Xiaoningsun said slowly. "Everyone's physique is different, so they are affected differently. Some people are in good health and will not even be affected by those chemicals throughout their lives. For example, in life, it is not every smoker will die from smoking, and not everyone is allergic to alcohol, sesame, or eggs." "I see," Zhang Lili said quickly. "Then is my son really safe in the future?" Should I stay away from my son? Jiao Ningxun said, children are prone to getting sick. He will get sick if you stay away from him. If you are by his side, you can take better care of him. Are you willing to leave such a young child again? Zhang Lily choked, thought for a while, and then said, then can you make my hair grow back and keep it from falling out? Jiao Ningxun said, it can be cured. If you take my medicine, as long as you go to bed early and get up early every day, and eat a balanced diet of meat and vegetables, the next time it grows, it won't fall off so easily. Zhang Lily was immediately delighted. Then how much do you charge? The starting price is 3,000, the treatment fee is 5,000, and the medicine fee is 1,000, totaling 9,000. Pay first, and I will get the medicine later. Zhang Lily was stunned. Can it be cured with just 9,000? Jiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows and said, what? You still dislike the lack of money? Then I can charge you 50,000. No, 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 just 9,000. Give me your bank account number and I'll transfer it to you right away. Okay, I think you also know my rules. You must not reveal my charging price after you go out, otherwise I will not rescue people related to you in the future. I understand, I will listen to you. After a while, Jiao Ningxun confirmed that the money had arrived, and took out a disposable acupuncture needle. I'll do acupuncture first, and then prescribe medicine. It hurts a little, so please bear with it. Looking at the tiny acupuncture needle, Zhang Lily trembled and said tremblingly, I have been afraid of injections since I was a child. Can you not give me acupuncture? I am really afraid of pain. Jiao Ningxun did not put down the acupuncture needle in her hand, and continued, without acupuncture, the effect is very slow. You paid so much money, don't you want to see the effect quickly, grow hair as soon as possible, and get rid of the wig? Zhang Lily hesitated for a while, and finally nodded, okay, let's do acupuncture. Jiao Ningxun quickly gave her acupuncture. After the acupuncture was completed, he went upstairs to get some medicine. I have already divided these medicines. Boil 4 bowls of water into 1 bowl. If you feel bitter, you can add licorice. Take it once at noon every day for 7 days. Zhang Lily happily took the medicine and said, okay, thank you very much. Ningxun, if my hair grows out, I will give you 2 more old hens. Jiao Ningxun is not pretentious and does not reject anyone who comes. Okay, I'll wait for that day. After lunch, Jiao Ningxun continued to check that there was still a doctor's quota. She was studying upstairs and looking at the gate. When she saw Xiao Kongshan and Hong Ying, her grandfather's eldest brother and sister-in-law, she didn't want to pay attention to them. But Xiao Kongshan kept knocking on the door, so she had to go downstairs. Xiao Kongshan was downstairs and opened the door before Jiao Ningxun. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 162. Seeing the person coming, Xiao Kongshan snorted, what are you two doing here? Xiao Kongshan looked at the things in his hands and said with a smile, my family has raised a lot of hens and ducks this year. These are the eggs they laid, and they are all the freshest. Didn't I hear that your family contracted the land? We've opened a fruit and vegetable store again, so I'll give it to you to try. Hong Ying curled his lips and said, you have been in business for such a long time, and yet you don't even want to celebrate. You still want us to deliver gifts to your door in person. You are really rich, and you don't recognize us poor relatives anymore. Xiao Kongshan immediately glared at his wife fiercely. Hong Ying had to shut up for the time being. Xiao Kongshan didn't even glance at the basket in his hand. Our family also raises chickens and ducks, and there is no shortage of chickens and ducks' eggs to eat. You can keep them for yourself. We have other things to do, so we won't entertain you anymore, so hurry up and leave. As he said that, he was about to close the door. To show your courtesy for nothing is to be either an adulterer or a thief. Chiao Kongshan saw Chiao Ningsun coming and said quickly, "We are not just here to deliver chicken and duck eggs today, we are also here to see Ningsun for medical treatment." Hong Ying said, "Yes, we heard that her medical skills are very good. We are her elders. She can't help but treat us, right?" Chiao Kongsheng said coldly, "See a doctor? Okay, have you prepared the money? Do you know Ningsun's rules?" Hong Ying frowned and said, "We are all relatives. She is a junior, so she still needs to take money from our elders." "That's right," Chiao Kongshan said, "we have also heard of her rules, but they are restricted to outsiders. We are her relatives, and she should not use those conditions to restrict us." Hong Ying nodded, "That's right, that's right." Chiao Kongsheng said contemptuously, "Since you have no money, then don't come to see a doctor. My granddaughter doesn't owe you anything. It's not like there are no hospitals outside. Go to the hospital and see yourself. You." Chiao Kongsheng and Hong Ying quickly put their things on the ground and started rolling around. "Everyone, come and take a look. Don't recognize your poor relatives when your relatives are prosperous. We are all brothers. When some people become prosperous, they no longer care about brotherhood. Oh my God, we are suffering from diseases and we just want to come for treatment, but we are actually kicked out by our brothers. It's so expensive to see a doctor outside, and my relatives are so capable, so why not treat us?" When Chiao Kongsheng saw some people coming around, he suddenly became furious and said, "You are just messing around." The onlookers also recognized who was rolling. "Isn't this Chiao Kongshan? Why are you taking your wife to wallow in someone else's house? Isn't this easy to understand? I guess they want to use this method to get others to agree to their conditions. You're so old, don't you feel embarrassed by this? If I did something like this, my children would probably be killed." I have also heard something about the two brothers back then. Kongsheng's family got sick one after another, but they did not help at all. "Oh, I just got married this year, and there is such a thing, so these two people are probably not good people, right? It must be true. Who can be a good person who can force others in such a rogue way? He is so old that he doesn't even have the dignity to do so." The two people who were rolling suddenly turned red and could only stand up. Chiao Kongshan explained, "We are good people. We just want Chiao Ningsun to treat us, and they will drive us away." Hong Ying said, "Yes, we are all relatives, and they still want to collect money from us. Doesn't this mean they don't regard us as relatives at all?" Chiao Kongsheng said loudly, "When my daughter came to you to borrow money, you avoided her and didn't treat us as relatives. You can be in the first grade of junior high school, can't we be in the 15th grade? You are allowed to treat our family unfairly. Okay, won't our family be allowed to fight back?" Chiao Kongshan and Hong Ying choked at the same time. The onlookers spoke again. "It's true that these two people acted unkindly first and finished the matter first. Yes, they have hurt other people's hearts, and now they see that others are capable, and they are trying to curry favor again. They used to think that Ningsun's family was poor, but they never came to visit her when there was a happy event at home. They never invited Ningsun's grandparents. Oh my God, they came to the door with eggs that every household has. They have no sincerity at all. That's right, even if you are here to apologize, you should bring something valuable, such as wine." That's right, that's right." Chiao Kongshan suddenly fainted and fell to the ground when he saw that everyone was on his brother's side. Hong Ying hurriedly shouted, "Ningsun, help me, please save your uncle's life quickly." Chiao Ningsun did not move. It's really hilarious that he dares to perform in public with such poor acting skills. Hong Ying stood up and said displeasedly, "Chiao Ningsun, why are you so cruel? Your elders are about to die, but you are still indifferent? Fortunately, you are still a student." Just as Chiao Kongsheng was about to speak, Chiao Ningsun said, You want something from me and you still scold me? Okay, then I won't be polite. After saying that, she looked at Jiao Kongshan, who fainted. He is indeed sick, and his organs are also pathological, but it's not because he is old or overworked, but because he liked to go to the flower street in the city a few years ago, so I contracted the disease. Jiao Kongshan and Hong Ying were shocked. Does Jiao Ningxun even know this? Jiao Kongshan immediately sat up and became nervous when he saw everyone else looking at him meaningfully. Don't talk nonsense, Jiao Kongshan said nervously. I came today because of a headache and physical weakness. In order not to treat me, you actually accused me of going to Huaja. You are too cruel. Hong Ying also said, that is, I am his wife. How could I not know whether he has that kind of disease? Jiao Ningxun said calmly, headache and physical weakness are one of the symptoms of Hualia disease. After speaking, she looked at everyone. I'm just a minor. How could I possibly research and treat that kind of disease? Moreover, they are two adults, elders, and the ones suffering from the disease are members of the opposite sex. They would not come to me to treat this disease. It's appropriate, so it's normal for me to reject them, right? Yes, I saw on TV that you need to go to a specialized infectious disease hospital to treat Hualia disease. That's right, these two people are really not ashamed to come to see a little girl for such a dirty disease. I guess I just want to come here to take advantage. I heard that Hualia disease is difficult to treat. I just didn't expect these two people to have that kind of disease. Everyone should stay away from them. After the man finished speaking, he saw that the others had already retreated, and quickly took a step back in fear. Hey, you are too unkind. Jiao Kongsheng said angrily, you two have gone too far. You actually asked my granddaughter to come to see you for your internal illness. Get out of here. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 163. Chapter 163 Villa. After saying that, he picked up the broom in the yard and swung it at them. Jiao Kongshan explained while hiding, you misunderstood, I really don't have that kind of disease. My granddaughter says yes, if you want to see a doctor, go to the hospital yourself. Don't dirty my granddaughter's hands. Jiao Kongshan and Hong Ying saw that Jiao Kongshan was so angry that they had no choice but to run away. After turning a few corners, the two of them slowed down. Jiao Kongshan said with a depressed face, Jiao Ningxun is really capable. He actually knows that I have that disease, and he is not afraid of other people's comments at all. Originally, they all thought of letting Jiao Ningxun treat him first. Even if Jiao Ningxun is diagnosed with Hualia disease, he will definitely not dare to make it public. If others knew that she had treated people with Hualia disease, no one would dare to seek medical treatment from her in the future, and she would not be able to make money. At that time, they can use this to threaten her and get some benefits for them. If the disease can be cured, by the way, that would be great. I heard that Jiao Ningxun owns land, orchards, and a shop, so he must have a lot of money. At that time, if they just say 200,000 to 300,000, their family will be turned over. I just didn't expect that Jiao Ningxun didn't even look at her, and she knew that he had Hualia disease. He really underestimated her. Hong Ying was also very depressed. I really didn't look at the almanac when I went out today. Now I'm fine. I didn't find out about Jiao Ningxun. Instead, the illness of the two of us was exposed. It is estimated that no one in the village will dare to approach us in the future. Jiao Kongshan said, with the current method, we can only go to the city to hide for a while and get treatment on the way. Hong Ying nodded, okay, I'll listen to you. Since the village chief's wife Chiu Suiying regained her sight, people have been coming to see Jiao Ningxun every day, giving her more income. In a blink of an eye, Monday, September 2nd, is here, which is the registration time for the opening of the number 1 middle school. He-Uny was in the same grade as her, but she was a transfer student, so after arriving at school, they signed up separately. Jiaoningsun and Jiaoshulan went to the academic affairs office together. Because all of Jiaoningsun's conditions were suitable and her final exam scores last semester were good, the school could successfully accept her as long as she paid more fees. It's just that the class placement has not been decided yet. It will be done after the entrance exam is taken after registration. If there is a teacher who directly requests her, she can be assigned directly. After Jiaoningsun paid the money, she asked Jiaoshulan to go back to the shop, and she went to find He-Uny again. When he arrived at class 8, grade 2, a group of people surrounded He-Uny. He-Uny, tell me how you study, why do your grades improve so quickly? Yeah, I asked you in the group before, but you didn't say anything. You don't know, the Chinese teacher said. The math teacher was shocked. Tell me, how did you get 524 points in a short time? Speak quickly, I want to hear it too. Guan Yiwen was also on the side, looking at He-Uny pretending to be puzzled. He-Uny said with a smile on his face, I found someone to give me tutoring. Her grades are very good, and the method of teaching me is also very suitable for me. So that's how it is. Well, I also want to hire a tutor, but tutoring is really too expensive now and my family can't afford it. Yeah, a good tutor now lasts hundreds of hours an hour. My family is reluctant to spend money on me. My dad said that if I can study, I can go to college. If I can't study, I can go to work. Everything depends on me. TCH, do you really believe that he hired a tutor? His grades were so poor before, how could he improve so much in such a short period of time? He must have cheated to achieve such good results. Those people turned their heads at the same time. They saw their classmate Shi Zhenkai and several of his companions looking at He-Uny with a sinister look on their faces. The people on He-Uny's side were immediately unhappy. What cheating? If He-Uny wanted to cheat, why didn't he cheat before? Why did he cheat this time? That's right, He-Uny's math score was 135 points this time. His math score is not as good as his. How do you think he cheated? That's right, I heard from the teacher that He-Uny got many of the big questions in mathematics right. Multiple choice questions can be copied, but big questions are difficult to copy. Do you think the invigilator at the time was blind? Shi Zhenkai was suddenly embarrassed and said bravely, how do I know how he plagiarized? Only he knows. Anyway, I don't believe that his grades can improve so fast. He-Uny sneered, believe it or not, I don't need you to believe it. In future studies and exams, everyone will see whether I can really do the questions and study. Time is the best proof. Everyone will see it. Guan Yiwen said, that's right, you don't need to believe it. That's right, that's right. You really treat yourself like an onion. Shi Zhenkai was instantly furious. He couldn't find any words to refute, so he could only walk away angrily. As soon as He-Uny turned around, he saw Jiaoningsun behind him. He was about to speak when he saw her making a silencing gesture to him. Although He-Uny was strange, he was also very obedient and did not say hello to her. Guan Yiwen was a little helpless. Through this period of contact, he knew that Jiaoningsun had some evil intentions, and now he didn't know what he was planning. After signing up, there was no class on the first day. Jiaoningsun and He-Uny came to Tianling community next to the school together. He-Uny asked as he walked, cousin, why did you bring me here? These are all villas. Do you know the people here? Jiaoningsun smiled and said, just follow me. He-Uny had no choice but not to ask any more questions. Unexpectedly, after walking a few steps, he saw He-Uny and other family members waiting at the gate of the community. He-Uny walked over quickly and said, Second aunt, grandpa, and grandma, what are you? Xiao Shulan just smiled and said nothing. Ye Kaixiang shook her head, your cousin asked us to come here. She said she had something important to tell us, and she also asked your second aunt to put down her work. Xiao Ningxun said, you all come with me, I will take you to a place. After Xiao Ningxun swiped her card, she took her family into the villa area. After walking in for another 2 minutes, Xiao Ningxun stood at the door of a house, opened the courtyard door, and walked in directly. After a while, she opened the front door again. Coming to the living room and looking at the house in front of him, Xiao Ningxun asked with a smile, everyone, what do you think of this villa? Oh, it turns out that Xiao Ningxun wants to buy a house. It's just that this is a villa, so the price must be very expensive. Does she have enough money? He Yuanhui looked around and said, although it is not as big as the villas on TV, the decoration is very nice and everything is complete. It makes people happy both physically and mentally. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 164. He knew that his cousin had some money. After all, during the summer vacation at home, his cousin could sell mushrooms for 200,000 to 300,000 yuan every day, so he could definitely afford to buy a house. He Yuanyang told the truth, this is the most luxurious house I have ever seen in my life. Qiao Kongsheng and Ye Kaixiang also looked around. The villas in the city are just more convenient than their houses in the country. Each room has a toilet, which is very convenient for washing. Ye Kaixiang sighed, this house is good, big, and spacious, but it is too big and cleaning is too tiring. Qiao Kongsheng said, old lady, many people who live in this kind of house hire people to clean it. Huh, Ye Kaixiang said blankly, isn't that a waste of money? Qiao Kongsheng said, for people who have money to buy this kind of house, do you think they will be short of money? Ye Kaixiang suddenly shut up when she thought of her granddaughter's daily income of more than 200,000 yuan at home. Well, her vision is narrow. The money her granddaughter makes from selling mushrooms in one day is enough to pay the wages of several people for a year. Xiao Ningxun smiled and said, there is an 80 square meter garden outside. The indoor area of the house, and all floors added up, total 320 square meters. The first floor is the kitchen and bathroom, and there are 2 small rooms. The upstairs there are 4 bedrooms and 2 study rooms. Moreover, this house is far away from the gate, so it is very quiet at night, and it is very suitable for resting. It is also a well-decorated house, with floor heating and other facilities, so you can move in directly. Although it is not as good as the manor villas where rich people live, the Sparrow is small, well-equipped, and located in the city. It will be very convenient to go anywhere in the future. In a few years, the value of the house will rise by at least 1/3. If you buy a house now, you will definitely make a profit without losing money. She has tens of millions of money in hand. She not only bought here, but also bought in other places where she knew the value would appreciate quickly. Qiao Kongsheng saw the smile on his granddaughter's face and suddenly guessed, Ningxun, have you already bought this house? Qiao Ningxun smiled and nodded, yes, I bought it. I came here with my mother to buy it last time. Except Qiao Shulan, everyone was shocked. Qiao Kongsheng wondered, houses in the city center have always sold well, and not far away is Nanjing No. 1 Middle School, which is the best middle school in Nanjing. There is no shortage of rich people in Nanjing. Rich people study for their children. This house, if it's really good, many people will be rushing to buy it. Why can you just buy it? Ye Kaixiang also worried, Ningxun, are you mother and daughter being deceived? Qiao Ningxun said with relief, Grandpa and Grandma, don't worry, I have obtained the real estate certificate, there is no problem. It's just a friend I met before, he has some connections, I bought it through him. Chiao Kongsheng breathed a sigh of relief. So that's it? He didn't ask much. The only rich people Chiao Ningxun knew were probably the people in Junhang and the people who lived behind their houses. I heard that she saved the old man's life, probably because of the favor she was selling there. Chiao Ningxun turned around and said, cousin, do you like it here? They both nodded at the same time. I like it, it's very quiet here. I like it too, it's very beautiful here. Chiao Ningxun smiled and said, then if you don't want to live on campus, you can live here. He Yuanyang suddenly realized, no wonder you asked me not to pay the accommodation fee when I sign up today. He Yuanhui said, I haven't paid the accommodation fee yet. Chiao Ningxun said, so, are you willing to live here? He Yuanyang thought for a while and said seriously, cousin, thank you for your kindness, but I am used to living on campus. If you suddenly change places, I will definitely not adapt well, so I won't come to live here. I'll live on campus. He Yuanhui was a little hesitant. This place is so nice, it is indeed much more comfortable than living on campus. However, some of his roommates have wealthy families who live on campus. If he moved out suddenly, he would definitely be said to be unsociable. He Yuanyang said, second brother, if you want to agree, just agree. The school teacher's teaching method is not suitable for you. If you have any questions here, you can ask your cousin. He Yuanhui thought for a moment and said, cousin, is this okay? If you want to go home at night when you live on campus in our school, just tell the dormitory and you can go home. If I don't understand something, I will come back that day. If not, I will continue to live in the school. Is that okay? Yes, of course. Chiao Ningxun looked at He Yuanyang, cousin, you can do this too. For example, a few days before the exam, if my cousin wants to stay up late and read, any light in the dormitory will affect other people. You can read as much as you want when you come back. Also, you can come back if you feel unwell, or if you feel particularly tired one day, or if you want to be alone in a room. He Yuanyang thought about it and felt that what she said made sense. Good cousin, I will listen to you. Chiao Ningxun asked each of them to choose a house they liked, and then gave each of them a key. Grandpa, Grandma, Mom, if you want to live here in the future, you can come. I will always welcome you here. Chiao Kongsheng said with a smile, okay, I will listen to you. Chiao Shulan said, Ningxun, the two brothers may not come here every day, but you have to live here every day. I'm really worried about you living alone. Chiao Ningxun said, it's okay. Although the villas in this community are small, the management is also very strict. There is only one house left with no one staying. You should have noticed when you came in just now that there are no people from this community with you. No outsiders can come in. The security guards are on patrol 24 hours a day, and there are surveillance everywhere. This home is also under surveillance, so nothing will happen. Chiao Shulan thought about it for a moment and nodded, okay, it's up to you. Chiao Ningxun smiled with satisfaction. She doesn't live outside because she wants to enjoy herself. She has learned many things and does not need to attend too many late-night self-study classes. Day school can finish class one night earlier than living in a dormitory. In this way, no one cares about her. She has magical powers. She can quietly go to the mountain to practice at night, and then come back without anyone noticing. The more magical formulas she unlocks, the stronger her abilities become. Furthermore, she won't be able to sell mushrooms often anymore. She wants to live stream to make money. The group looked around again. Although the villa was fully decorated and Chiao Ningxun hired someone to clean it after buying it, it still lacks some daily necessities. Especially Chiao Ningxun, she has to live here all the time and has nothing to do in the afternoon, so she went shopping again. Chiao Shulan did not go home at night, but stayed to help her daughter decorate the house. When she woke up the next day, she went directly to Chiao's fresh food. September 3rd, classes officially started. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Ching Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 165. Chapter 165 Entrance Examination. On the first day of school, teachers at Nanjing No. 1 Middle School generally do not teach new courses. Most of them teach the test questions of the final exam of the previous semester and check summer homework. The class teacher sometimes changes seats based on the final results of the previous semester. Nanjing No. 1 Middle School has extremely strict inspections on summer vacation homework. If you don't write according to the teacher's instructions, you still have to make up for it even after school has started. At this time, every classroom was filled with wailing. Xiaoningsun followed Xiaoqin's, a teacher from the Academic Affairs Office, to the teacher's office and walked next to Chen Xingwen, the head teacher of Class 1, Grade 2. Chen Xingwen was working. When he turned around and saw the person coming, he stood up and asked, "Teacher Xiao, what are you?" Xiaoqin smiled. "She is the new transfer student this semester, Xiaoningsun. She used to be a student of the No. 3 middle school in Yule district. Later, her household registration was changed to her mother's surname. She is also considered to be in our Longshui district. That's why you came to study in our middle school in Longshui district. Several students from your class have transferred out this semester. The number of students is already the smallest, so Xiaoningsun should be placed in your class." Chen Xingwen looked at Xiaoningsun's face. If this face entered his class, would the male students in his class still have the heart to study? And his skin is so good, you can tell at a glance that he is someone who pays great attention to taking care of himself and doesn't focus on studying at all. Chen Xingwen asked with waning interest, what was her final grade last semester? Xiaoqin saw his expression and roughly guessed what he was thinking. She did not take the final exam last semester because of a car accident and was hospitalized in early May. However, the school conducted a mock exam before, with a total of 560 points. Chen Xingwen looked confused. 560 is indeed not bad, but there are more girls in my class. If a male student comes, I will definitely have no objection. Teacher Xiao, why don't you arrange her to a class with fewer female classmates? Let's go to class 8. 560 points, which is indeed higher than some people in his class. The mock exam for the first year of high school is easier than the college entrance examination. He is probably just a young person with a second degree. Although my grades are not bad, it is not worth the loss to gain 560 points and influence other people in the class. There are many students over 560 in his class, and there is no shortage of this one. And this person is so beautiful, he doesn't believe that she got this score by relying on her true strength. If it is above 700%, then he is still interested and can reluctantly accept it. Xiaoningsun sighed inwardly. Sure enough, he was worthy of being ranked number 1, but he didn't even get a score of more than 500 points. It's a pity that she wasn't reborn before the mock exam for the first year of high school, otherwise she would have shown them how good she is. It's not bad to go to class 8, at least you can supervise he you and Hui all the time. Zhou Anning, the head teacher of class 8 and Chinese teacher, fell in love with Xiaoningsun at the first sight. He immediately stood up and said with a gentle look on his face, "Teacher Xiao, has she taken the entrance exam? This kid's skin is too good. It's good to be young. Unlike her, she not only has big pores and wrinkles, but also gets a few acne from time to time. And this child has so much hair that he can be considered twice as long as her. It is also a woman, but God is too partial to this child." Xiaoqin said, "No, her school was considered a key school in the city before, and her high school entrance examination scores and high school mock test scores were also very high, which met the standards of our school, so I didn't let her take the exam again. Who would want her? Let any teacher test her again, with her ability, there will be no problem. Zhou Anning nodded and looked at Jiao Ningxun with a friendly smile. Classmate, when you join my class, I need to get to know your situation. You will be tested on all subjects. Are you willing? Jiao Ningxun was not surprised. He nodded and said, Teacher Zhou, it's okay. You can take the test at will. Teacher Zhou gave her a very good first impression, and she was willing to cooperate with her. Zhou Anning was very satisfied with her answer. She went to the teacher of the 3 subjects including Chinese and mathematics and took a paper and put it on her desk. You can do it here. You don't need to write a composition in Chinese. Within 2 hours, you can do it right as much as you like. Jiao Ningxun nodded, okay. After saying that, she took out her stationery and started writing furiously. She has a photographic memory now. In her previous life, she had learned 3 years of high school knowledge. She just flipped through the books during the summer vacation and mastered all the 3 years of high school knowledge. These questions are very simple for her. She knew the answer to most of the questions just by looking at them. She does not need to calculate some math problems. Chen Xingwen snorted secretly when he saw Jiao Ningxun doing it so quickly. It's just a score of over 500 in the high school mock exam. Do you really think you are a top student? Less than an hour later, Jiao Ningxun stopped writing, I'm done. She didn't use speed formulas, she could really write so fast. The space manual said that the higher her spiritual power is, the faster she can do anything, the faster her reactions will be, and she won't be too tired even if she doesn't use the magic formula. Her hands would get tired after writing Chinese language test papers in her previous life. She wrote 3 test papers at once today, but she couldn't feel her hands at all. Other teachers present looked at the time. The 3 subject papers were completed in less than an hour. Even if you don't write essays, you can't be so fast. Under normal circumstances, you can't finish the Chinese test paper, right? Chen Xingwen smiled proudly. It turned out to be a vase. He didn't even put it in it, he just scribbled on it. Fortunately, he didn't ask for it. Zhou Anning stepped forward to pick up the test paper and looked at it, and was suddenly shocked. Although I only took a rough look at it, there are many correct things. Jiao Ningxun could not have written it casually. Zhou Anning took the test paper, found the available math and English teachers, and asked them to correct it. She quickly corrected Chinese language test papers. After a while, the correcting teachers were shocked at the same time. Zhou Anning, except for the unwritten essay, everything else is basically correct. Only 1 point was deducted for the reading comprehension question. A math teacher, full marks, actually full marks. An English teacher, I also got a perfect score on this one, which is amazing. None of my students have ever received a perfect score. It was time for get out of class to end in the office. For a moment, all the teachers looked at Jiao Ningxun as if they were treasures. Being her teacher would be extremely beneficial to their careers. Chen Xingwen's face suddenly turned extremely ugly. Only 1 point deducted? Full marks? Just this child? How could it be possible? He hurried over and looked at the 3 test papers and corrected the answers. As expected, most of them were correct. The chemistry, physics, and biology teachers next to him suddenly lost their composure. Student Jiao, I have a chemistry test paper here, why don't you try it too? You should also take my physics test paper. I also have my biology test paper, classmate Jiao, can you please do it as well? Jiao Ningxun smiled and said, teachers, of course you can. I am a student, so you don't have to be so polite. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 166. The three teachers were immediately overjoyed. The physics teacher put the test paper on his seat and said, "Student Jiao, come and sit here." Jiao Ningxun nodded, sat down and started to do the questions again. She is very familiar with these questions, many of which she has done many times in her previous life. 40 minutes later, Jiao Ningxun finished writing 3 more test papers. The 3 teachers immediately took it over and marked it nervously. Physics teacher, full marks, actually perfect marks. Chemistry teacher, my chemistry is also full marks. Jiao did really well. Biology teacher, I also got perfect marks in biology. For a time, all the teachers looked at Jiao Ningxun as if they were Tang monk's flesh. Chen Xingwen couldn't sit still and fell off the chair. Xiaochens just went to do his own thing after Jiao Ningxun's exam. When he heard Jiao Ningxun's results came out, when he came over, he saw Chen Xingwen falling to the ground. "Teacher Chen, what are you doing?" Chen Xingwen stood up immediately and said uncomfortably, "It's nothing, my legs are numb and I fell down." The other teachers suddenly burst into laughter. Xiaochens asked, "Everyone, how did Jiao Ningxun do in the exam?" Zhou Anning smiled and said, "Teacher Xiao, her grades are very good. All other grades are full marks. She did not write a composition in Chinese, and only 1 point was deducted for the part she did write." Zhou Anning has never encountered such a good seedling before. This is simply a treasure that has been delivered to his door. That's not right. A math teacher suddenly shouted. Xiaochens asked, "What's wrong?" A math teacher looked at the test paper with a complicated face. "I just thought about the second year of high school this year, so I gave her the test paper for the second year of high school. But today is the first day of school for the second year of high school. She should only know the test papers for the first year of high school. But I got all the test papers right for my sophomore year of high school." Everyone looked at Jiao Ningxun blankly. Zhou Anning asked, "Classmate Jiao, you?" Jiao Ningxun said with a smile, "I was just bored at home during the summer vacation, so I taught myself all the second year of high school. I didn't expect that it would all come in handy this time." She had no intention of keeping a low profile in this number 1 middle school where top students gathered. Teachers are people who love talents. It is well known that students with better grades will receive more preferential treatment. By pretending to be low-key, you can indeed enjoy the pleasure of being slapped in the face later, but there are also a lot of troubles. Everyone. Can I still get full marks by studying by myself? This brain is so good, he is simply a genius. Xiaochens looked at Jiao Ningxun in surprise. "Student Jiao, did you feel uncomfortable in the last mock exam? How come you got 560 points that time?" Jiao Ningxun coughed slightly and said, "That may be true. On the day of the exam, I was really dizzy. I was hit by a car when I got home after the exam. I lay in the hospital for more than 10 years before I woke up. I stayed in the hospital for a month, and the doctor issued a critical illness notice, and I almost became a vegetative state. It is precisely because of this that my father was worried that I would become a burden to him if I could not wake up and become a vegetative state, so he did not want me anymore and gave custody back to my mother. But God has been very good to me. My mother has just been raised. Quan, I woke up. That's why I changed my surname from Yuan to Jiao. She didn't mean to be miserable, as this would save her a lot of trouble in the future. Even if Yuan Deshan comes to the school to look for her, the school will be more sympathetic to her and protect her." Some teachers in the office were still very kind and looked at Jiao Ningxun with sympathy. This child must be too miserable. Is her father a fool? A daughter with such good grades does not need to think about it to know that she has a bright future. If they were her father, they would definitely spend all their family wealth to save her. Xiaochens looked apologetic and said, "I'm sorry for mentioning your sadness." Jiao Ningxun smiled nonchalantly and said, "It's okay. My mother is very good to me. I feel very happy now. Xiaochens nodded, that's good. When he met Jiaoning Sun, he just thought that she changed schools because she had moved. I didn't expect that there were so many hidden secrets and that her grades were so good. If the principal knew, he would definitely be very happy. Chen Xingwen's face looked a little ugly. This kid failed the last exam because he was sick and unwell? He made a mistake. Zhou Anning already liked Jiaoning Sun. After hearing her story, she felt even more pity for her. Jiao, I am the head teacher of class 8. Why don't you come to my class 8? Jiaoning Sun nodded, okay, thank you, teacher Zhou. No, Chen Xingwen hurriedly said, Teacher Xiao, you just said that if you give the student to me, you won't keep your word, right? Xiaochens was very helpless, you don't want it yourself, so I gave it to teacher Zhou. Chen Xingwen, but I want it now. Zhou Anning would not give in and lose such a good seedling. Teacher Chen, as a teacher, do you want to go back on your words in front of the students? As a teacher, do you think this is good? Chen Xingwen choked, thought for a while, and then looked at Jiaoning Sun. Student Jiao, my average score in class 1 is higher than class 8 every time I take the test, and the learning atmosphere is also famously good. If you get to class 1, the level will definitely be improved. Jiaoning Sun said calmly, it's okay, as long as you are determined to learn, you can learn well anywhere. Chen Xingwen cursed secretly in his heart. I really do know how to do it. He has never whispered like this and gives his face shameless. Seeing that the other teachers were looking at him, he didn't want to pester anymore, so he had to give up. Okay, then congratulations to teacher Zhou. Since the senior year of high school has to be divided into different classes anyway, he is an excellent class teacher and has taught several key classes for the senior year before. There will definitely be a chance next time. Xiaochen said with a smile, then I also congratulate teacher Zhou. There is the last class in the morning, so I will ask teacher Zhou to take Xiao to class 8. Zhou Anning nodded, don't worry, teacher Xiao, just leave this child to me. On the way to class 8, grade 2, Zhou Anning asked, Jiaoning Sun, have all your things been moved to the dormitory? Jiaoning Sun said, I applied for day study, and my things have been moved to my residence. Zhou Anning, study as a day student? Does your family also have a house in the city? She just read Jiaoning Sun's information. Although her village has buses to the city, commuting every day still takes up a lot of time. Jiaoning Sun nodded, yes, it's near the school. I just bought it some time ago. Zhou Anning sighed softly. She was beautiful, in good shape, had a house in the city, and had good grades. The most important thing is her skin, which can be broken by a blow, which makes her extremely envious. Although her skin looks good, it's all because of the makeup she wears. When he reached a corner, Jiaoning Sun suddenly stopped and said, Teacher Zhou. Zhou Anning turned around, huh? What's wrong? Do you want to go to the toilet? No, Jiaoning Sun asked, Teacher Zhou, is your right hand injured? Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 167. Zhou Anning nodded blankly, yes, I went riding a bicycle in the mountains during the summer vacation and accidentally fell. Everything else has recovered, except that my right hand seems to have injured a muscle. Now I can't use force. It hurts every time I use force. She is also worried. It's okay that there is no new class today, but if there is class tomorrow, she will probably have to use her left hand to hold books. The injury on her hand has a great impact on her life, making it inconvenient to do anything. She can't even wring out the water when washing her underwear, so she needs help. Her boyfriend has been complaining to her a lot lately. But there was nothing she could do. She went to the hospital. The hospital prescribed medicine for her to take care of her, but it had no effect. She was planning to see a doctor after get off work this afternoon. Xiaoningsun said seriously, I have taught myself ancient medicine and know some massage techniques. Why don't you let me give you a massage? This. Zhou Anning looked at the time. It was still early enough for class, and nodded, okay, I'll trouble you then. It is impossible for a top student to make fun of her. Xiaoningsun held up Zhou Anning's hand, and while massaging it, he injected spiritual power into Zhou Anning's injured area. 3 minutes later, Xiaoningsun let go of Zhou Anning's hand and said, Teacher Zhou, you can try your strength now. Zhou Anning tried to clench her fists, and was immediately surprised. She tried to exert force before the massage, but it still hurt, but now it doesn't hurt at all. Zhou Anning moved the book from her left hand to her right hand, and sure enough, it didn't hurt at all. Zhou Anning was surprised and said, Classmate Jiao, your medical skills are really amazing. Having good grades and good medical skills, this person is perfect. Xiaoningsun smiled and said, thank you for your praise. We can communicate more about health-related issues in the future. I have some experience in this area. If you feel uncomfortable in your body, you can also ask me. For some diseases, it can be cured. Zhou Anning chuckled and said softly, okay, I'll listen to you. Thank you very much today for coming to number 1 middle school. If you have anything to do in the future, just come to the teacher. Thank you, Teacher Zhou. When the two of them arrived at the door of Class 8, the bell rang. Zhou Anning came to the podium, said hello to the students, and said with a smile, everyone, there is a transfer student in our class today. Please introduce herself to everyone. He Yuan Hu's heart tightened when he heard this. Could it be that his cousin came to his class? Guan Yiwen and Wei Dongchen couldn't help but sit up straight. Other students are also looking forward to it. After a while, Xiaoningsun walked in from the door, stood on the podium, and said very generously and appropriately, hello everyone, my name is Xiaoningsun. I used to be a student of the number 3 middle school in Yule district, Nanjing City. Because I changed my household registration, I changed my residence again, so I transferred to this middle school. My original surname was Yuan, and now my surname is Jiao. Please take care of me. The students below were talking a lot. The new classmate has good skin. She's also very good looking, she might even outshine our school beauties. The voice is also very nice, I don't know how the 5 tones are, if I can sing well, there will be someone in our class who can perform well in future activities. I just don't know how my grades are going to be. The number of points collected in the high school entrance examination for number 1 middle school is number 1 in Nanjing. Our school is recognized as the best high school in Nanjing. If you don't transfer well, you probably won't be able to get in. You are too naive. In today's society, money can make all the difference, so you can go through the back door. Looking at Teacher Zhou's smiling face, I guess my grades are pretty good. Wei Dongchen saw Xiaoningsun's eyes, noticed him and nodded to her quickly. Guan Yiwen whispered, Yuan Hui, she is really your cousin. He Yuan Hui said with a grimace, yeah, I thought she wouldn't come to this class. My cousin has such good grades, why should she go to the class with the highest average score? Did you come to his class on purpose to supervise his study? Guan Yiwen gloated, you will be miserable in the future. During the summer vacation, he also went to Lao Qiao's house to study with He Yuan Hui, and Xiaoningsun also taught him. Although she teaches very well, people can understand immediately, and she is also very patient. But in terms of strictness, they are even stricter than their teachers. He Yuan Hui snorted, don't think you can be more relaxed in the future. She obviously regarded you as her younger brother before, so she was so strict with you. If you don't study hard in the future, just wait to be punished. Don't forget, your parents are still working for her. Isn't it a piece of cake to handle you? Guan Yiwen's expression changed. He seemed to be happy too early. In the future classes, he will probably be targeted even if he says a word. Teacher Joe smiled and said, "Everyone, if you have anything to ask the new classmates, hurry up and ask. I will give you 5 minutes." One person raised his hand and stood up. "New student, how was your final exam score last semester?" Jiaoningsun told the truth. "I had a car accident before the final exam last semester. I didn't take the final exam. I just took a mock exam before the car accident. I didn't do very well, only 560 points." The students immediately started whispering among themselves. 560 points is not bad, much better than my score. But that's just a mock exam. Generally speaking, in order to increase students' confidence, mock exam questions will be relatively simple. Indeed, I really can't say what her grades will be. But you have to take the entrance exam when you transfer to another school. Seeing how happy Teacher Joe is, I guess the entrance exam score is pretty good. Guess so. One person raised his hand and asked, "Teacher, what are the entrance examination scores of the transfer students?" Joe Anning, "The entrance exam scores are pretty good, except for Chinese, they are basically full marks." Perfect score? The students were immediately shocked. The entrance exam to their school is notoriously difficult. Some of them have relatives who know that the teaching quality of number 1 middle school is very good, and many of them want to study in number 1 middle school. But many people are blocked by the entrance examination and can only get in by paying more school construction fees. This person can actually achieve almost full marks. Is that human being? Another person asked, "Teacher, what does classmate Jiao's family do?" Joe Anning was a little unhappy. "I have known for a long time that many people in the class are grouped together based on family conditions, but I didn't expect this person to ask so directly." She also knows what Jiaoningsun's family does. There are many people in the class who have good family conditions, and it is inevitable that they will not be looked down upon by those people. However, this matter will be known sooner or later in the future, and it actually doesn't matter if it is said now. Just when Joe Anning was struggling, Jiaoningsun said generously, "My family's conditions are average. Our family is engaged in land contracting and orchard business. My mother just collects money from the fruit and vegetable shop every day." Many people's mouths twitched. Are these conditions normal? The conditions at home are much better than most of their families, right? End of chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 168. Joe Anning didn't want everyone to struggle with this issue, so she continued to ask, "Do you have any questions?" Students, you look at me and I look at you, but no one asks any more questions. Joe Anning said, "Since everyone is fine, let me see where Jiaoningsun is sitting." He Yuan Hua's heart tightened. There was an empty seat behind him. My cousin must not look behind him. Jiaoningsun pointed at He Yuan Hua and said, "I'll sit behind that tall guy." Everyone turned to look at the position behind He Yuan Hua at the same time. As expected, He Yuan Hua was so popular that he was attracted by the transfer students as soon as he arrived. Some girls who had a good impression of He Yuan suddenly became full of hostility towards Jiaoningsun. Teacher Joe nodded, "He Yuan Hua is too tall, will it block your sight?" Jiaoningsun smiled and said, "It's okay, I can't stop him." She made him shrink when she couldn't see. He Yuan Hua and Guan Yu Hui's hearts tightened at the same time. Cousin still wants to sit behind them. Wouldn't it mean that every move they make from now on will be watched by their cousin? Teacher Joe said, "Okay, then go ahead, Yan Yuxiu. The new classmate has just arrived and is not familiar with the school. You and she are at the same table. Can you take care of her more?" Yan Yuxiu glanced at Jiaoningsun and nodded, "Okay, teacher." After saying that, he lowered his head again. After Jiaoningsun sat down, he said politely, "Hello." Yan Yuxiu said uneasily, hello. She glanced at Jiao Ningxun's face, and when she thought of her own face, her head suddenly dropped even lower. Teacher Zhou, okay, dear students, I will hand out the Chinese test papers for the final exam of last semester. When everyone got the test papers, Zhou Anning smiled and said, everyone, as the class teacher, I have something to say to everyone before class. I have always known that anyone who can get into number 1 is not stupid. I believe everyone has discovered it. The teachers in the previous 4 classes probably also mentioned that He Yuanhui, a student in our class, has really made rapid progress. He has never failed in Chinese language before, but he actually passed this time. And my math scores, I never failed and got 135 points. The other 4 doors all passed. Everyone must learn from He Yuanhui in the future, so that in the future, everyone can get a good score in the college entrance examination and choose a good university. Classmate He Yuanhui, tell me, how did you make so much progress in just 1 month? He Yuanhui stood up uncomfortably. He had already stood up twice in the 2 classes just now, so he had to repeat what he just said. Teacher, I met a good teacher 1 month before the final exam last semester. They gave me tutoring on Saturdays and Sundays and gave me study methods, so I can progress so quickly. My cousin told him before that if someone asked him about his improvement in grades, don't say that she taught him for the time being. Zhou Anning was surprised and said, that teacher is really amazing. He Yuanhui said with a proud look on his face, she is indeed amazing. Her grades are also good. She is the most powerful person I have ever seen. Zhou Anning had an ominous premonition in her heart. Could it be that He Yuanhui fell in love prematurely? But before she could ask, He Yuanhui said again, she is the most powerful person among my relatives. Zhou Anning suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. It turns out they are relatives. Having relatives who are top academics is also a blessing, and it is also a kind of luck. Zhou Anning continued, I see, how old is your relative this year? She and I are the same year. You are still a bully in primary school, sit down, we will evaluate the test papers in today's class. After class, it happens to be lunchtime. A boy walked up to Jiao Ningxun and said, classmate Jiao, I am the monitor of this class, Ji Ruishan. If you need anything, you can come to me in the future and I will try my best to help you. Jiao Ningxun smiled politely and said, okay, monitor. Ji Ruishan opened his mouth and wanted to say that he could take her to dinner, but thinking of the differences between men and women, he could only say something else, then I'm going to eat first. If you have any questions, you can come to me when I come back in the afternoon. Okay. Yan Yuxiu packed her things and wanted to go directly to the cafeteria, but thinking of the teacher's words, she could only bite the bullet and said, Student Jiao, you just came today and are not familiar with the school. Why don't I take you to the cafeteria to eat? Jiao Ningxun glanced at Yan Yuxiu, whose face was covered with acne. He didn't dislike her and said with a smile, okay, I'll go with you. At this moment, 3 girls with high ponytails came over. Student Jiao, don't you find it unappetizing to eat in front of a face like that? That's right. Besides, the school cafeteria is terrible. There are a lot of people there now. Why don't we eat outside the school? I ordered the food in advance and it was almost ready in the past. I can get back before 1 o'clock. You are so beautiful and your skin is so good. We also want to ask you how you take care of your skin. Judging from Jiao Ningxun's clothes, and the fact that the family has contracted land and has a shop, we know that the family's conditions are not bad. They must invite their new classmates for today's meal. They want her to know who is the most popular person in the class. They all saw it just now. Ever since Jiao Ningxun stood on the podium, the eyes of the men in the class were looking at her intentionally or unintentionally. Bai Yi is the default beauty of the class, and she must never let her status be taken away by this person. Yan Yuxiu touched her face, feeling extremely embarrassed, and her eyes were red. She didn't want to get acne, but her family took her to see many doctors, but they couldn't cure it. Some people also say that it is acne and it will be cured when they become adults or have children. But there are no good men who like people with pimples on their faces. She has no hope for her future and is ready to die alone. Jiao Ningxun stared at the three people opposite him with cold eyes. What are your names? These three people are the three people who asked questions in class just now. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Bai Yi. My name is Zheng Xuanjiao. My name is Li Fangfang. Jiao Ningxun raised her eyebrows and looked at He Yuanhui in front of her. He Yuanhui glanced at the three people sympathetically. Even if her cousin disliked these three people last time, they probably wouldn't get much benefit from her. Oh, Jiao Ningxun raised his eyebrows and said, I remember. I'm going to eat with my table mates. I'm not familiar with you, so you can go by yourself. These three people are obviously only in their teens, their eyes are full of calculations, and they are also people who have disliked her cousin. She doesn't like them, so naturally she doesn't need to give them face. The three of them were stunned. They had not thought that they would be rejected. Jiao Ningxun ignored them, stood up, and looked around the classroom. He Yuanhui, Guan Yiwen, Wei Dongchen, will you go to dinner with us? End of chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 169. Chapter 169 is not difficult to treat either. The three of them didn't leave either, because they were worried that Jiao Ningxun was not familiar with number 1 middle school alone, and also worried that people in the class would bully her. The three of them nodded at the same time. Okay. Bai Yi was stunned. Do you know each other? Jiao Ningxun, yes, we are from the same village. Li Fangfang glanced at He Yuanhui with a blushing face, and said with a smile, since we know each other, that's great. Why don't we go to dinner together? Just add a few more dishes. This way she can get in touch with He Yuanhui. Zheng Xuanjiao and Bai Yi were immediately happy. This is indeed okay. Jiao Ningxun asked, are you treating me to a treat? If you treat me to a treat, I will go. Bai Yi said sarcastically, our meals are all made from AA. Jiao Ningxun's family doesn't look bad, why should they treat her? As a transfer student, shouldn't Jiao Ningxun take the initiative to invite them? This way she can please them and let them play with her. Haven't you seen that all the other female classmates have left? Are they the only ones left? Made by A, Jiao Ningxun was a little disappointed. Forget it, I thought you were treating me. After speaking, she looked at Yan Yuxiu and said, let's go together. Yan Yuxiu nodded like garlic and followed behind Jiao Ningxun. He Yuanhui and the other three people also quickly followed. Bai Yi stamped her feet resentfully. The transfer student is so ignorant, so shameless. Zheng Xuanjiao said with a face full of jealousy, is it possible that He Yuanhuinan rejected us because he liked her? Li Fangfang frowned and said, it's very possible, although I don't want to admit it, but Jiao Ningxun is indeed prettier than the three of us and has better skin than us. Bai Yi snorted, since she is so ignorant, find an opportunity to teach her a lesson. Zheng Xuanjiao and Li Fangfang nodded at the same time, okay. On the other side, Jiao Ningxun and others left the classroom and went straight to the cafeteria. He Yuanyang saw them arriving and stood up to greet them. The cafeteria of number 1 middle school also has small dishes, but they have to run faster. He Yuanyang's last class is physical education. The teacher usually ends the get out of class 1 minute early so that he can order the food in advance. Jiao Ningxun and his party quickly passed by. Looking at the delicious food on the table, Jiao Ningxun looked at He Yuan Yang with praise. Cousin, this is how it should be, you can eat whatever you want. This is good for your health. He Yuan Yang smiled and motioned for everyone to sit down. He now has money in his hands, and he also feels that what his cousin said makes sense. Only when you are in good health can you have the energy to study, so he ate well in the previous month. Of course, it can't be so greasy every day, otherwise it will easily get angry and be bad for the body. When he wants to eat something lighter, he will eat a set meal. He Yuan Hui swallowed his saliva. Fish-flavored shredded pork, sweet and sour pork loin, braised pork, minced pepper fish head, garlic-flavored white meat, and stir-fried lotus root slices are all my favorite dishes. He Yuan Yang smiled and said, eat it if you like it. My eldest brother invited me for today's meal. Thank you, brother. Yan Yuxiu felt very uncomfortable when she saw senior high school students there. She thought Jiao Ningxun didn't know anyone at school. If she had known her cousin was here, she wouldn't have come. She is really not good at communicating with people. Jiao Ningxun saw Yan Yuxiu's discomfort and said with a smile, Yuxiu, can I call you like this? It's not that she is unprepared for people, but she calculates that Yan Yuxiu's character is not bad, and she is also friendly. She has a relationship with Dr. Yan who saved her life, so she will have a better impression of Yan Yuxiu. She did not count her life, so she did not waste today's quota. Yan Yuxiu nodded, yes, of course, can I call you Ningxun? Of course. Jiao Ningxun looked at He Yuan Yang again. Let me introduce to you, he is my cousin, dear, his name is He Yuan Yang. Next to him is his younger brother, who is also my cousin, He Yuan Hui. Guan Yiwen and Wei Dongchen, we are from the same village, and our elders all work together. Yan Yuxiu started to feel embarrassed again. It turns out that you have so many relatives and friends in the same class. I thought you must be lonely in number 1 middle school. Jiao Ningxun nodded, it is indeed lonely. They are all men and you are a woman. I have nothing to say to them. 4 people. It doesn't need to be so straightforward, right? Jiao Ningxun added, cousin, she is my desk mate, her name is Yan Yuxiu. He Yuan Yang nodded, hello, classmate Yan. Yan Yuxiu said very nervously, hello. Jiao Ningxun picked up the chopsticks and said urgently, okay, everyone, eat quickly, the food is almost cold. Others nodded and ate quickly. After lunch, Yan Yuxiu said a little embarrassedly, Ningxun, the money for this meal. Guan Yiwen and Wei Dongchen also looked at Jiao Ningxun. Jiao Ningxun asked, cousin, how much does this meal cost? He Yuan Yang said, no matter how much money you have, you don't have to give it to me. Just treat it as my treat today. Cousin number 1 gave him another 50,000 yuan, and he already had nearly 100,000 yuan in hand. Jiao Ningxun smiled and said, Yuxiu, you heard me, my cousin invited me. Yan Yuxiu thought for a while and said, thank you very much. If there is a chance, I will invite you next time. Jiao Ningxun smiled and said, okay. After speaking, she looked at Guan Yiwen and Wei Dongchen, don't worry about it. Your parents work very hard. Treating you to this meal is considered as employee benefits for them. The two of them felt better immediately. After a while, some people went back to their dormitories to rest, and some returned to the classroom. Walking in a secluded place, Yan Yuxiu glanced at Jiao Ningxun's flawless profile and hesitated. Jiao Ningxun felt Yan Yuxiu looking at her face for a while, and then lowering her head. After repeating this several times, Jiao Ningxun stopped and asked knowingly, Yuxiu, is there something on my face? Yan Yuxiu knew that she had been caught, and quickly shook her head, no, I just think your skin is really good, and I want to ask how you usually take care of it. Jiao Ningxun was waiting for her words, briefly telling her about her self-taught medical skills. Yan Yuxiu said in surprise, Ningxuan, do you know how to practice ancient medicine? Jiao Ningxuan said with a mysterious face, I am not only good at ancient medicine, but also fortune telling. If you have anything you want to ask, you can ask me. Yan Yuxiu is not interested in fortune telling. She just wants to heal her face, so she urgently asked, are you really good at it? If possible, can you help me treat the acne on my face? Of course you can, Jiao Ningxun asked doubtfully, I see there are less than 10 pimples on your face. It shouldn't be difficult to treat. Didn't you go to the hospital? Yan Yuxiu said dejectedly, I went, but it relapsed within a few days of recovery. My family said it was because I ate spicy food that caused the growth to grow. End of this chapter. Back before I became a vegetative state, I became an immortal and invincible. Author, Qing Jue Chen Chen. Chapter 170. Chapter 170. Why are you so unlucky? But I've tried it before. Even if I only eat boiled vegetables and boiled meat for a month, I will still get acne. My family also said that it is like this in adolescence. After it relapsed several times, they didn't want to waste money and stopped taking me. Went to the hospital. So that's it. Jiao Ningxun took out 2 bottles of medicine. If you believe me, try my medicine. This black bottle is for internal use, 1 pill a day. The white bottle is for external application, every day. It only needs to be applied once. Just take a cotton swab dipped in the medicine and apply it on your face. You can apply it in the morning or at noon. I guarantee that it will be effective if you apply it once. Yan Yuxiu said, really? Then apply it now, okay. Sure, let's go to the bathroom now. 10 minutes later, Jiao Ningxun had already applied the medicine on Yan Yuxiu's face and gave her a pill to take internally. Yan Yuxiu looked in the mirror and asked doubtfully, Ningxuan, is your medicine colorless and odorless? Apply it on your face, and it will feel like your face is wet with water. It is also cool and very comfortable, as if it is working. There is no smell, so no one can smell it, and her classmates will not discriminate against her. Yes, so you can also apply it at school. Just apply it once a day. No need to wash it. Apply it for 3 days in a row and your acne will disappear. After 7 days, your acne marks will also disappear. Just take it every day like today. Just eat normally. Well, I listen to you, but how much does this medicine cost? We are classmates, you can use it for the time being until you recover. Okay, thank you. The time soon arrived at night. Jiao Ningxun is a day student, so he can study one night early and go home from get out of class. He Yuanhui originally wanted to give it to her as a gift, but she refused. It was only a few minutes away, she would be fine, and she didn't want to delay He Yuanhui's study time. After walking for a few minutes, she entered Tianling Community, the villa area where she bought a house. She glanced behind her, ignored those people, and quickly went home to prepare for the live broadcast. At this time, Bai Yi, who was still out of class, felt a message coming from her phone. She quickly opened her phone and took a look, and immediately frowned. Bai Yi forwarded the news to Zheng Xuanjiao and Li Fangfang. The two of them also frowned when they saw the news. The 3 of them came to a group of just 3 of them. Zheng Xuanjiao, Tianling is in a villa area. Is Jiao Ningxun so rich? Can he actually afford a villa? Li Fangfang, yes, looking at her clothes, the total amount of her body is probably just over 1,000. She is just an ordinary person who contracts land and opens a shop. How can she have money to live in such a good place? Bai Yi, is it possible that she is being kept? Zheng Xuanjiao and Li Fangfang were stunned. They could only think of this possibility. The 3 of them seemed to have found something to do with Jiao Ningxuan, and they felt extremely happy. Hearing the ringtone for the last class, he quickly put away his cell phone. According to the regulations of Nanjing No. 1 Middle School, High schools can carry mobile phones, but they are not allowed to take them out during class. If it affects other students in the class, the phone will be confiscated and will be returned at the end of the semester. After Chiao Ningsun returned home, she quickly washed up, dried her hair, took out a piece of cake from the refrigerator and went to the study. After eating, she turned on the computer, clicked on the live broadcast software, and started the live broadcast. Good evening, everyone. The live broadcast is now live. The rules are on the screen. If you want to tell your fortune, hurry up. All her fans did not expect that she would actually broadcast live at nearly 10 o'clock. For a time, the live broadcast room was filled with howls. "Ah, I have to go to class tomorrow." The anchor started broadcasting too suddenly. "I have to go to work tomorrow, woohoo, although I don't have to watch it, I really want to watch it." This time is not bad, it has no impact on college students, there are no classes tomorrow morning anyway. Upstairs, you are irritating. When the anchor finishes the fortune telling, it will probably be 12 o'clock, and I am ready to stay up late. Fortunately, I am working the night shift today and I am bored. The anchor can help me pass the time. The anchor came just in time. I have something to ask the anchor today. Fortune telling. Chiao Ningsun, the universe is invincible and so cute, please pay first. The person nicknamed Universal Invincible Big Cutie created a carnival. Chiao Ningsun accepted his connection, and a gray-haired old woman appeared in the live broadcast room. "Oh my god, are all grandmas so fashionable now? I actually learned how to live broadcast and find fortune tellers online." The name Invincible and Lovely in the universe really doesn't match this grandma very well. It is not surprising for people of their generation who usually love fortune telling. I think it's good. Many old people can't use smartphones now. Those who can use them will add a lot of fun to themselves. That is, if the elderly in my family can use smartphones, our whole family will be happy and can video chat with each other at any time. A young man suddenly appeared in the camera and explained, "This account belongs to me, this is my grandma, I just lent my account to grandma." I see. I would like to say, how could the middle-class name Universe Invincible and Great Lovely belong to an old woman? Chiao Ningsun, excuse me, what do you want to do? The young man immediately stepped out of the camera. The old lady said, "Master, I heard from my grandson that you are very accurate in telling fortunes, so I want to ask you, why is my family so unlucky during this time? What kind of bad luck? I have 4 sisters in total and 1 younger brother. I am the 4th. It is now September. Starting from May this year, one of them will die every month. The eldest sister died in May, the second sister died in June, and the second sister died in July. My third sister died in August, and my younger brother died in August. No one died in my family, but my 2 daughters-in-law obviously did not go out in the same car on the 1st of this month, but they were both involved in car accidents, and one of them is still lying in the hospital. On. Isn't this bad luck? Is this evil? Yeah, did their family offend some kind of god? Are there really gods in this world? Of course there is, otherwise why would the anchor tell fortunes so accurately? Makes sense. The old lady continued, "Not only that, my grandson was almost hit by a falling object when he was walking on the road recently. If he hadn't been lucky, he would probably be dead now." Chiao Ningsun counted his fingers and had the answer in his mind, "You are not unlucky, but your family has offended someone. It is the murderer who is taking revenge on your family." The grandma's grandson hurriedly said, "Grandma, look, I said someone was deliberately trying to harm our family, but you said our family was unlucky." The old lady asked excitedly, "Who is the murderer?" End of this chapter.